Hi folks, thanks for joining me again. Very much appreciated, and for all your support, especially patrons over at patreon.com/Stephen Cronin. Got a simple little winter scene for you today. This road sort of snakes its way into like this little village scene, little man walking his dog. Lots of dark tones, lighter tones, try to get a bit of variation in the colour. But a very limited palette just to sort of emphasise that cold winter appearance of the scene. If you'd like a bit of reading material to keep you through the winter months, I've got 4 books, Watercolour Painting Made Simple, volumes 1 to 4. They're available on Amazon. Each one is just full of step-by-step photographs to guide you through each paint. I've tried to simplify it as best I can. So head over to Amazon, you'll find all of these. So the colours, the palette looks a mess as always, but it does the job. I haven't used all these colours. This one I've just used ultramarine, Payne's grey, raw sienna and burnt umber. Brushes as always, most of it done with a large one, Ranson-Ake, and then a bit of rigger, number 3 rigger, 0 rigger, and a little flat brush there just for doing the fence posts. Right, I'm going to kick this off, not a huge amount of water but enough just to soften all the background off and stop the paper getting all crinkly. Then the sky, I'm going to go with a bit of ultramarine, a bit of Payne's grey, and that's coming down just above the horizon line, something like that. Let's just level that off a little bit better. That'll do. And then I want a stronger mix for the distant trees and things. Just about see some of them. Let's go a bit more black than that to actually stand out. A bit more blue. Just see these on the horizon, tiny little things over there. Just wherever the paint's coming down the paper, all I'm doing, I'm just sort of soaking it up like that. And the benefits are twofold, because not only you're stopping the water from dripping down, but you're making up some nice clouds, you know what I mean? So in front of that, let's just clean the brush and just take a slightly softer, lighter paint. I don't want to paint over all that nice white snow, so I'm just the odd little bit here and there. Well, that's all I'm going to do with that now. Now I'm going for some darker. I'm going to introduce a bit of brown as well, I think, here. Bit of brown, bit of Payne's grey, bit of ultramarine. And now this time sort of something like that. Now this is where the cabin's going, so it's got to be nice and dark so that it stands out. I'm just being careful as I can not to paint over all the white bits. I want plenty of snow sticking through all this. Come back to that in a sec. I'll just let that dry slightly. You know, so I'm sort of constantly twisting the brush as well, always trying to get random effects as best I can. I don't want all that perfectly straight, so I'm just going to come off slightly here and there just to make it look a bit more natural. Let's just pull that flat. Oops, hang on, it's just come off the what's it there. going to pulling it tight and then just re-clipping it against this 9mm piece of plywood that I use. It's leaning against my easel. Right, hang on, I'm just going to scrape this in there. So I'm just using a piece of card, a bit of plastic. Let's just scrape that building in like that. It's a bit bigger than that, I think. I might do another one as well. Just have a flat one. Let's pop another one there. That needs to go over in front of that. Made a slight mess of that, but I'm not going to worry about it too much. Let's just push the darks right up to the roofs. It's the easiest way I know of painting buildings. Push the darks up and then use a bit of card just to scrape in a few details. Could be anything. I'm just pushing up. These are like little fence posts, or you can paint anything you want. A few more along here. In fact, I'm going to do a few more. No, actually, I'll come a bit further forward first. I might introduce a little bit of raw sienna just to alter it slightly because everything's pretty samey. You see, that's just slightly different. Just a little bit of colour in there, but not too much. It's a nice cold winter scene, so I don't want too much. Just go with a bit of burnt umber, a bit of variation. Back into that ultramarine. I'm just trying to think. There's a path. I need a path. I'll just go very, very light. Just very, very light. Somewhere like that. Just flicking a few, switching to the rigger brush now. I just want a few little things up here. I'm not sure that's really added anything. In fact, I'm going to save that. What I'm going to use this for, to be actually, is the telegraph poles. This big one. It's very subtle. In fact, I'm going to put that one a little bit higher because I don't want them the same. I want one to be dominating. You always need one. Actually, let's make it this one here. Oof. That one needs to be a little bit higher. I'll do this. I'm messing about with that. I'm not messing about with it anymore. I'm going to that raw sienna. A bit more of this. Right. Now we've got coming down. This big hedge thing down here. It's coming right down there like that. It's a little bit darker. I'll switch to this little flat brush that I've got. I'm doing a bit of brown, bit of blue. I'm just going to put a few little vertical marks in there. Start off with a few little fence posts. a few little posts along there as well. Some dotted across there. Just wondering if I can stick a little gate thing, but no, I'll leave that for there. Make this a little bit darker. Through to there. Just dipping the corner of the brush into the water just to loosen all the paint off. It was going a little bit dry. The drier it gets, the harder it is to get it off the brush. So just darken these a little bit just to really pump up the contrast. Try not to paint over everything I've just done. I wanted to just darken them a little bit more. Right, I think I'm ready for. A little bit. Try not to kill all the subtle colours and things that I've got in there, but I wanted to get that a little bit darker. Because I wanted to sort of pop from a distance. But I think what I'm going to do now is pop in a few shadows, I think, but not too much. I'll just add a bit of brown to it and then just water that down a little bit. Right then, now I'm thinking just going to test these shadows over here first. Just want to bring them out, not too much. Switch to the rigger brush, and then what I'm going to do is pull a little shadow from each of these fence posts. So giving the same, so it's like just going in that sort of direction. But first I'm going to have to dry that because my hand's going to go straight in it. If I just take a bit of that shadow colour on there. Now shadows obviously all need to go the same way, so I'll give them something like that. Just pull a little shadow from each one and it'll just help create that sense of light. There's nothing else that needs shadows. I'm going sort of that way. What I do want is a bit of more dark colour on that brush. I prefer if it was a bit drier actually. Got a little bit too much water in on the palette. Well, I'm just drying it on a bit of tissue I've got down here on me what's it here? Just drying it on this piece of tissue. So we'll get sort of the land sloping down, so I just want little bits, just very subtle. This is like little bits of shadows and things that are showing up in the landscape. So all I'm doing, I'm just dabbing. I'm sort of going in that, following the contours of the land. Just very light touch. And then just here and there, just a little flick, So just a little bit of grass and things popping up. Try very, very hard not to overdo it. Stop. Quick dry. Now one little man, so I'm switching to the little brush I got. I might just go straight into some red and just see what that looks like. See what the red looks like on here. Where's he going to go? He's going... Oh, I'm going to pop him just there somewhere. Got to be quite small because that's quite far away. I don't want him too big. Popping in his legs. I'm sort of doing bendy legs so it looks as if he's actually walking. Pop his head on there. I've made him look a little bit like a hunchback. That looks as if he's bending down or something, looking down. I'm just going to do a little dog in front of him. Then little shadows. Give that a quick draw. And I think I'm just going to sign that now. Back to the rigger brush. A bit more water, loosen the paint up a little bit. Sign that one and call that one finished. So let's stick a mount on that and see what it looks like. Well, I've put the mount on it. To be honest, I'm a little bit... It's not quite as nice as I thought it would look, but what I'm going to just try is I just want to make these roofs a little bit whiter so that they'll just stand out a little bit better. So I'm just dabbing it with a tissue, just loosening it. Probably help if I used a clean tissue. Just trying to find a clean bit on this bit of kitchen roll I'm using. Normally I never touch, once I've put the mounts on, I never touch them normally. Very rare. Do you know, I ain't going to mess about that anymore. All I'm going to do now is just a hint of a window or something in there. That's it. I'm just going to leave that now. Right in. So there's the proper view of it. So if we go in and have a closer look at it. The sky was a very simple ultramarine and Payne's grey mix, and then you can see what I've just dabbed with a tissue just to create that little simple little cloud effect. Adds a bit of texture to the sky. And then down on the horizon use the same colours to produce the distant trees and bushes there along the horizon. A few more right over there in the distance. Moving into the middle ground, you see I've scraped in some buildings here. Few telegraph poles and whatnot. Put the trees in nice and dark where I know I was going to scrape so that the roofs would show a little bit better. And then again darkened, added a bit of raw sienna in there just to try and vary the colour a little bit. Switch to the small flat brush just to put all these fence posts in. Also gives a good opportunity to add a few more shadows to the scene. They go all the way across, and those shadows sort of enhance the lighting effect. So the lighting effect, we've got the big dark shadows here, a bit of shadow cutting across this path that winds its way round. So our little man there walking his dog into the village. Just try to create some very subtle effects here on the land as it slopes down using the paintbrush and some dark colour. A bit more, probably done too much actually, could have done with about a quarter of all of that. It's so tempting to paint over fresh white blanket snow. So that's it for this one. Hope you enjoy it. Thanks as always for watching and for your support, very much appreciated. Remember the podcast, there's about 7 episodes now if you want to take a look at that. So until next time, keep practicing. If you've got any questions, please don't hesitate to ask, and I'll see you again soon.